Hey everybody, this is Kevin over at jkevinjohnson.com, coming at you one more day, one more beautiful morning, evening, afternoon, wherever and whenever you may be listening to this podcast radio show. I've been thinking about a lot lately. I titled the show today, Toxic World, Detoxification and Living Clean. Just kind of, it's coming up to the end of the year. We're approaching a new year with January coming, and we're almost at the end of December. And one kind of subject that kind of pops up around this time of the year is everybody wanting to get healthy, get back in shape, and go through like a detoxification program, so to speak. I know that's becoming a popular term that's being talked about and out in mainstream society today. Everybody wants to detox, do this to detox and get clean and get nice and clean and purified, I guess you could say. So I just I've been, I guess, pressed and urged to kind of go this way, in that just kind of looking at my own personal life and sitting down and looking at some assessments. We go through cycles and we go through moments where we have to really take time and do some personal introspection and meditation about where we are, where we're not measuring up, and where we need to be. And a lot of times, with the way our world is, in my view, with the way the world is, we live in a highly toxic environment on all levels of human endeavor. And given that we consume information and messages, but through our 5 and 6 senses, it's very important that from time to time, maybe on a regular basis, that we take some time to really look at where we are and how we are, as far as what we consume and how it affects us in all levels of human endeavor. And when I say that, I'm talking about your body, your soul, and your spirit. Your body, your mind, emotion, will, and then your spirit person too. So we live in a world that exists on many planes, and we're able to access these different planes through different various means and modes. And it behooves us, we're admonished to make sure that we stay nice, clean, and purified, so that we can remain kingdom citizens and kingdom bound. And I'm saying this with one of the verses, I guess, that when I'm talking in this respect, is Revelations 22:14, and that the ultimate goal for those who consider themselves to be called out, or Christians, or those who profess to be followers of Christ, or however you may put it, Revelations 22:14, real quick. I always, we try to keep this in mind as we go about our day-to-day business, and that the end game, the ultimate, let me see here. Yeah, the end game is, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. And this is talking about, this is the last chapter of the book, talking about that you want to follow we are given some instructions on how to remain clean, purified, and set apart, to be able to walk through the walls, those pearly gates, so to speak, into and out, into the city. There's a reason why the city has walls. On the outside, there's those who aren't purified enough to walk in, and then the gates is for those to let enter into. Those that are able to enter into those gates are the ones who remain clean and purified and detoxified and not dirty, and they don't have no spot or blemishes with respect to who they are as beings of light. So this is what this journey of life is all about. You try, you adjust, you fail, you get up, you walk, you go through moments of getting dirty, and you have to be re-cleaned. How many of us out there have to wash clothes on a bi-weekly, weekly, every other day? In my house, it's every other day, given the amount of clothes that everybody goes through and stuff. So How many of us have to take baths and have to wash and clean ourselves on a daily basis? So we go through moments in which we have to go through cycles and periods of getting ourselves clean, detoxifying, so that we can continually live in a purified basis, in a state of set apartness, so to speak. And we go through moments where we mess up, we slip up, we fall down. We have an advocate with the Father, and we're admonished to get up, brush ourselves off, and get clean again, and keep on moving. That's all you can really do. So, with that in mind, today I'm going to be talking about the toxic world, getting clean, or detoxification, and then living free, just living, trying to, doing your best and letting God do the rest, and train you and mature you into a mature bride. And that takes time. That's what this journey is about. One of the things that we often miss is that when you accept Jesus Christ, you've crossed over from one kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light. You've crossed over to the threshold, and after that is the second part that's often skimmed over, and that now begins the process, the journey. That's your beginning. Accepting Jesus Christ is the beginning, not the ending. Accepting Jesus Christ is your ticket, your entryway, your doorway into eternal life, into into kingdom living. And then you spend your life, no matter how long or short it is, developing, maturing, and becoming and growing into your destined person, your destined being that you were destined and called and to be. So this is what this is all about. Your life is all about once you accept Christ. So nobody's perfect in behavior, but you want to be mature, perfect in your spiritual man as far as development. So perfection as far as love and being a person of kingdom principles. So I've been all over the place this week, I guess you could say, with the amount of information I've been consuming. So this is probably gonna come out a little jumbled. It's probably not gonna come out nice and in a good succinct fashion that I'm so used to doing. So I'm not going to spend a long time here, just a little bit of time. So I want to get it all out as fast and as succinctly as possible. But I know it's not going to be nice and tidy like I usually like to have it. That's just the way life is, right? You plan on things being one way, but sometimes you just got to roll with it. So, a lot of times I just force myself to sit down and hit the record button, and we just roll with it, see what happens. That's just the way life is now. So, the world in which we live, in my view, is highly toxic. We have to separate ourselves and go through a detox program in order for us to be able to do kingdom work and be set apart, just to live a pure life, untouched by this toxic world, in my view. And I do say toxic world, in that the world we live in is fallen. There's different levels and degrees of moral bankruptcy depending on where you may find yourself in this world. So you have to continually guard. You have to continually keep your armor on and keep your shields up in order to keep your force fields up at 100% in order to remain clean and pure in a world that is otherwise going to hell in the handbasket, so to speak. So this is a fluctuating process. We live in a quantum universe where we live inside the realm of time, and there's all kinds of ways we can go. But the whole key to this is learning how to be a good steward of your time, and learn how to be a good steward over the resources that you've been given dominion over and have access to. So this is what this is all about: learning how to have dominion over your kingdom that you've been given to shepherd over and steward in this world. I've been reading Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, and I've just gotten so many nice nuggets out of that. If you don't know who he was a president of the Austrian Medical Society for Psychotherapy, has developed revolutionary concepts that add a new dimension to the theories of Freud and Adler and extend the basic concepts of modern psychology. In this book, he describes his harrowing years in Nazi prison camps, during which he developed logotherapy and the crystallization of his theories as a result of those hellish experiences. And basically, this is memoirs of the first book. Half of the book is a memoir about his experiences of going through the Nazi death camps and the Nazi, especially at Auschwitz and other places, and going through the concentration camps, and some things that he learned and saw, and we get nuggets of wisdom from a man who developed what's known as the third school of psychotherapy, called Logos therapy, the Viennese school of psychotherapy, that is often coined when you think of Viktor Frankl, as opposed to the will to pleasure, which is Freudian, and then Adler, which was one of Freudian's students, is the will to power. But Viktor Frankl adds another element in that Logos therapy, is which Logos, in one, I think Logos means meaning, and also means word too, but in the will to meaning, and that the way a person can get through the way a man, a woman can endure just about anything is when they have meaning attached to their lives, and they realize that there's more. There's a spiritual dimension to your life that gives you meaning and adds value to your life, and it gives you the ability to endure, and it gives you the ability to go through some hard circumstances. And the way, man, it takes a special. You have to really realize this when you're going through a Nazi death camp, so to speak, or when you're crossing, when you're one of the slaves packed on one of those ships, like sardines, going across the ocean, during the times of slavery, or when you're a child going through sex slavery camps and sex slavery rings, or anything, just about any dire situation that you will find that a human can find themselves in. There's a mentality that helps you become a survivor versus a non-survivor. So I've just been reading that, and with respect to what we're talking about today, toxic world, and that you may find yourself in all kinds of situations. There's all kinds of things going on out there. We don't have to dwell on them or focus on them, because that's not my point. But just to kind of point out a few things that kind of caught my eye before I got on the show was that, just kind of in my view, some things that kind of point to the toxicity that we live in all forms and fashions. We just recently had this San Bernardino thing happen with the two Muslims that killed all these, killed some people, and we see that this is increasing as we move along in this country, and that war has been declared on us, and the level of comfortability that we've been comfortable in just ain't gonna be that way no more. So we need to realize this and make decisions accordingly and lead our lives accordingly. And then also another article that popped out to me on the Daily Beast was one written about a satanic temple leader blogs her abortion, and how she blogs her about her rights and blogs about her experiences of going through an abortion. And whatever your views about abortion, my view is that it's ritualized sacrifice and murder of innocent children that's been it's murder of children, pretty much. Murder of innocent children. Now, you may disagree or whatever and say you have a right to it. That's your view, but this is my podcast, so my view is that abortion is something that it's wrong. And when a society in general accepts it, to me, it's a stepping stone in the wrong direction as far as the morality of the undergirding the culture on which our foundational, our society rests and institutions rest. And if you're doing these kind of studying into it, it's basically sacrifice, human sacrifice. And we see this with abortion. Also, on the other end, we see it growing with euthanasia, and that you get rid of the young, innocent, and then you get rid of the old. We don't need you around anymore. You're taking up too much resources. I mean, this is the side of the world we live in. We think this is normal, and anybody who thinks otherwise is seen as intolerable and needs to be dealt with. So this is where we are in our society, and just a few examples. Another one is I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about health and wellness in general. Just looking at the body, just looking at some of the images and stuff that we see on TV that's propagated against to us, and that the messages that's pumped into our houses through our cable. Some of it's good, a lot of it's bad. Most of it's bad. So I think somebody's quoted as saying, "Who needs mind control when you have TV?" So you just want to make sure you filter out whatever you watch on TV and what you allow to come into your eye gate, your ear gate, your five senses, and that affects your sixth sense, affects your spiritual eye, your perception, your spiritual man. Then you want to increase, oh yeah, back to the body. I was just thinking about health and beauty products, and I was listening to a lot of podcasts about a lot of the products that we put on our bodies and in our mouths and skin and stuff like that. And how a lot of it is very toxic. In other countries, some of these chemicals have been banned, but in our country, by the FDA, they haven't been banned. And it's these things are allowed to continue to be placed in a lot of products that we take for granted to be safe. So you might want to look at that. And if you're talking about detoxifying yourself and trying to get as clean as possible on all levels of human endeavor to remain purified for the soon and coming King. And I know you may say, Kevin, that don't really matter, man. I don't see all that. I go to church. I clock in at 11 a.m. We out by 1. Everything's good to go, brother. Well, what's your problem? Well, just start. I just implore you to sit down and think about some things and just kind of look at how. In the beginning, God set up things to where we are able to live life in a purified manner on all levels of human endeavor, and that He's interested in what we eat, what we do, what we say, what we listen to. He's interested in all of that. So it's just not about going to church once a week for 2 hours or an hour or whatever, and then clocking out. There's more to it than that. This is a lifestyle, not a program. Not a ritual program doing that you just do once a week. This is about living. And when you live this way, it's true worship. Something that we really don't talk about. Worship is more than singing and coming, clapping and doing what we do in church. But it's about how you live in lifestyle. And I'm not talking outward. I'm talking to myself too. This is one of the reasons why I do this show, because it keeps me focused and it keeps me on the front row. What do you do with the bad student in class? You set him up front. That's what you do. So this is a way of setting me up front. So it helps keep me out of trouble. And when I do get in trouble, I can get called out on it real fast and get corrected. So some of us, this is not, sometimes you talk to help keep yourself in, so to speak. When you talk, you're speaking to yourself and you're programming yourself as well. So it's very important that you keep your mouth clean if you can, and you work to do that, and you keep your mind clean, because it creates cycles. Words are very powerful, and that you're speaking into the heart and you're speaking into the subconscious, and these things that keep you locked in vicious cycles and and vicious circles that you'll have a hard time getting out of if somebody doesn't help you, which is why you need community. So hopefully, this is not just coming out too jumbled, but okay, let me slow down. Toxic world, detoxification, and living clean. The world in which we live is highly toxic. We don't have to really go into detail about that unless you want to. And then we have to separate ourselves as much as we possibly can, and to detox, in order to detoxify ourselves from all levels of human endeavor, in order to live a pure, clean, and kingdom ready reception life, if that makes sense. A ready to receive Revelation 22:14 life, talking about entering into the new Jerusalem, entering into the Eden. That's what this whole thing is about. Remaining purified for the soon and coming bridegroom. So that's what this whole thing is about. Let me throw out some scriptures just to kind of lay a foundation. Psalms 119:8. Let's go there real quick. Psalms 119:8. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies and that seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity. They walk in his ways. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then shall I not be ashamed. When I have respect unto all thy commandments, I will praise thee with uprightness of heart. When I shall have learned thy righteous judgments, I will keep thy statutes. O forsake me not utterly. And then 119:9, wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way, by taking heed according to thy word. So the question may be asked, well, how do I clean my spiritual man? How do I begin that process? I heard somebody say that purity brings about clarity, and that, when it comes to hearing the voice of God, sometimes we get to a place to where we mess up, we fall down, we get dirty, and the question may be asked, okay, I fell down, I'm dirty, how do I get clean again? And the answer is 119 can be found and seen in the prescription in 119:9. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? The question is asked, by taking heed thereto according to thy word, talking about the word of God. And that the way you begin the bath, the spiritual detoxification, is by reading the instruction book and following the instruction book as closely and to the instructions as you can. It doesn't mean you're going to get everything right. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. It just means that you know, when you know better, do better. Ain't that what Maya Angelou said? When you know better, do better. When you see the light, just start walking therein. That's all you can do as a human being. So that's the beginning. Let me go to some stories, I guess, to kind of illustrate some that has spiritual implications and on a practical, tangible, material level. Let's go to Esther 2:9-17. This story often jumps out at me when I talk about detoxification, and that the king had a process. The females had to go through a process as far as being prepared for the king. Just like us, we have to go through a process to be prepared to be received by the king. He just ain't gonna take you off the streets. Now, well, he's gonna take you off the street, and then he's gonna put you through a process of purification so that you can be ready to receive him. So he sees value in you. You are very beautiful. You're very valuable, and he finds it's like when you find a ring, a diamond ring on the road that's dirty. What do? You clean it off. You put it back in pristine condition, and then you put it on. You do what you do, or you set it up on your wall, or you set it up for people to kind of look at and admire, and then all that kind of those good things. So this is what he does with us. He takes us as we are, wherever we are. He puts us through a sanctification process for pure, and then he gives us the garments, the tools, the things we need in order to remain that way until he comes back to get us. So let's go to Esther 2:9 through I think 17. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification. Let's see. Yeah, and we look up that word. It's a scouring, that is soap or perfumery for the bath, detergent, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens, which means help, which were meet to be given her out of the king's house, and he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house for the women. Talking about the servant of the king who had to keep watch over these women, keep these females in line. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. So Mordecai told her, hey, don't let people know what your lineage is or who you are. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go into King Xerxes or Azarias, after that, she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women, for so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit 6 months. So this is a year. So it just wasn't no short-lived, no day thing. But the females, they went through a year's process of purification. So they went through a season of time in which, they were found, they were called out, they were gathered up, and then they went through a year of just purifying their lives, detoxifying themselves as much as possible to be ready to be received by the king, so he can look them over and see which one he wanted. So this is the same way with us. We come in as we are, and then we're placed. We go through a purification process that is designed to get all the hatred, the bitterness out of your heart, all the fear, the worry, the anxiousness, all those negative emotions out, to get your body clean on the physical level. We have instructions on what's for us to consume and what's not for consumption, as far as eating clean and unclean. Now, I understand that a lot of people don't see it that way, but you got to remember we're given instructions on all levels of human behavior on how to remain purified and clean in every capacity in which we live. So even down to what we eat and what we put on our bodies, what we think, what we listen to, all this stuff is we got to remember that we are temples, we are containers, we are receptacles. We are walking, living houses for the indwelling of the Holy Spirit of God. So I think it was Paul that said, what, don't you know that we are temples? Don't you know that your body is designed to be receptacles, and it can be receptacles for either other spirits, evil, other unclean spirits, or the clean and purified Spirit of God. So which one are you receiving, and which one are you allowing to indwell inside of your body temple? And a clean spirit likes a clean house, which is why, sin if you got sin in your life, he's like, well, I can't live here. You got to get rid of that first. You got to go through the detox program. So going back to the story, according to the manner of the women, for so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. So we see that we see some essential oils and some other oils and things, odors and perfumery and things being used to help these women get right. So men out there, don't get mad if the woman in your life has a shower full of all this stuff, and all thing you need is just some soap. And you're like, where's all this stuff? Why I need mango, paradise smelling lavender? Why we need all this, honey? And she's like, I need it. Don't you like your woman smelling good? You're like, yeah, but we got like 20 million different products. So I know the men know out there know I'm talking about. Females is rolling their eyes right now, but that's okay. We're gonna keep on rolling. The women into the king's house, and in the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of Shahagaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubine. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. Okay, so we see, I just wanted to just talk about that for a little bit, and that in the story of Esther, this one thing that kind of stuck out to me was the purification process that Esther went through, and this serves as a tangible or a story in which we can look at a historical account that gives view to the need to physically keep ourselves pure, and then also the deeper implication that we're to keep ourselves spiritually clean too, and get sin out of our lives. Let's see another one. Let me go to another story real quick. I think that helps. Daniel 1 through 16. Just going through the cleansing and detoxifying process, detoxifying yourself from a world that seeks to defile and dirty you on all levels of human existence, so that you will be unacceptable, so that you will have to endure the same outcome as the unclean spirits and the one they follow, the ones they answer to. So let's go to Daniel 1. Misery loves company. They know what their outcome is going to be. That's why they said when they seen Jesus, have you come to torment us before the time? So they know the program. They know there's the time. There's some time. There's some limitations. There's a whole eschatological program calendar in play. They know it very well. It's us who has to really get familiar with this and understand it so that we'll know. Let's see. Let me go here. And let's go start at verse 3. And the king spake unto Appanaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel and of the king's seed and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful, and all wisdom and cunning and knowledge and an understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them for 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were of the children of Judah Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for he gave unto Daniel the name of Belshazzar, and Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. So we see that Daniel and his wisdom and his friends, they were wise in knowing that what you eat and what you consume, it does affect your level of purification, whether we realize this or not. If you do any kind of study today on a lot of the foods and toxicity and stuff that we eat, and not only just food, but I'm talking about every, things we listen to, things we hear, see, things that we'll allow to come in through our five senses. All these things can either help build you up or help tear you down. They can either help defile you or help clean you up. It's just real simple. It's real simple. What goes in, it goes in. What comes out, and it does affect the receptacle, the temple. And the princes of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king? So he's saying, like, why should I? The king gave me this for you. Now, if you end up worse, that's going to be on my head. And I don't need no extra headaches, especially with the king, because he'll take me out. And Daniel's like, well, just let me prove this to you. So they go about, they change their diet for 10 days. They come back and dude's like, man, y'all look good. He said, then let our countenance be, let's see. So they do this. Let's go to Daniel 1:15. At the end of 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter and flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse, which is like a vegetable, pretty much like a vegetable smoothie, I guess you could say, from what I can gather about it. But I just wanted to illustrate the link between sanctification and what you actually physically consume and put in your mouth, and how it can either be for you or against you. It can affect you on your emotional state. It can affect you on your mental state. It can affect you physically, and then which also hinders or helps your spiritual connection and walk with God. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. So we can see that there is a link between what you eat and your level of clarity and your level of thinking and your level of how your emotions are balanced and stay stable. There is a link between all of these things. So everything is interconnected. In the world we live in, we're taught that everything is separate and compartmentalized, which is not the fact. We live in a big ball of yarn, in which a big web, I guess you could say, and that everything is linked together in one way or the other. And when you mess with one link, when you mess with one string, you affect all the others, whether you realize it or not. And this is in a quantum, we live in a quantum universe. So when I say quantum, this means, I think if you look up like the smallest unit of quantum is supposed to be 4 units or something like that. Just looking at Hebrew, Ancient Hebrew has 4 different meanings. So whenever you read the scriptures, there's at least 4 different meanings or levels to what you're reading. So you can read it at surface level, take it at surface value, good. But if you spend some time meditating, then you'll get a deeper understanding, and and so on and so forth. So this is something that you want to keep in mind as you study and as you go along your journey. But I just wanted to talk about that, those 2 stories illustrating the need to detoxify, the need to get pure in your life and get sin out of your life. And let me go to that need, and then also like I said, we do fall down and we do have to get back up and brush ourselves off. But I just want to go to a couple of verses that say that once we get pure and clean, that we're given when we accept Christ, we're given when we accept the way, we're given tools and equipment that will enable us to live clean, and will enable us to live purified lives when we learn how to use this equipment, and we learn how to keep it on, and grow in maturity with it. That's what this journey of life is about. It's about living in a quantum universe that is fallen right now, and it's everything about it is designed with purpose to weed you out, sift you out as wheat, take you out like a roaring lion, to isolate you and nullify you and destroy you, suffocate you, kill you on all human endeavor, to turn you all. Just reading Man's Search for Meaning. In the book, Victor talks about this person that's very familiar, that shows up in all the camps, and it's been verified by other researchers that look at individuals go through these hard times, in which a person has been stripped so much that they become what's the term is mausoleum. I think mausoleum, or like Muslim is what it sounds like. And this is a term that in the camps that pops up, and it refers to a person who has been stripped and has been used up until they just become a shell of a human being, in which they don't feel anything, no physical pain, they don't feel any emotions. They're at the edge of death as far as physical being. They're spiritually, they're dead. There's no life in them at all. They're just shells. They're shadows. They're zombies, walking zombies. And there was signs and symptoms that gave way when somebody reached this level of being. And a couple of them was that they had no fight left in them, as far as like if somebody stole some shoes from them, which was essential for survival, especially when you're in cold. And if somebody they got beat down by a guard, it really didn't affect them. They had their will to live was completely gone. So, this is what the enemy, this is what this toxic world, this is what the design of this world is to do. It's to take away, to train you, to brainwash you, to accept that there is no higher meaning, there is no higher purpose for your existence, that you are you just appeared out of nowhere. There is no meaning to your life. And that therefore anybody can do anything to anybody when they feel like it, because everybody has the ability to make their own rules as they go. And you're free to do what you want to do. And the world we live in is designed to extract and whittle you down, manage your existence into a slow death, while all the resources of you and that you produce and that you are is extracted from you for the usage and assets of somebody else. We live in a giant pyramid, prison, slavery system. And I know that's a lot to say, and we'll hopefully break it down over the course as this podcast goes along. But whether you realize it or not, we live in a very toxic, highly enslaving world environment that is designed to take you out. It's designed to keep you on the hamster wheel, chasing that almighty magic dollar, while your health is deteriorating faster than what it could be, while you're not really stable emotionally, while mentally you're dead, you're nullified, you're dull, and while spiritually you have no connection with the Creator, with the Almighty, so to speak. So this is what this is all about, and we want you to know that you can detoxify yourself from and detach yourself from this slavery system, and through the doorway, entryway of Christ, come into kingdom living and live an abundant life here, right now, and also stay that way until you dwell inside the gates of New Jerusalem, going back to Eden. So let me go to 2 Peter 1, 1 through 10. 2 Peter 1, 1 through 10. Simon Peter, a servant and an apostle of Jesus Christ, to them that have obtained like precious faith with us through the righteousness of God and our Savior Jesus Christ, grace and peace be multiplied unto you through knowledge of God and of Jesus our Lord, according as his divine power hath given unto us all things that pertain unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of him that hath called us to glory and virtue, whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption, the toxicity that is in the world through lust. And beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to your virtue knowledge, and to your knowledge temperance, self-control, and to your self-control patience, and to your patience godliness, and to your godliness brotherly kindness, and to your brotherly kindness charity. For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that you shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. But he that lacketh these things is blind, and cannot see afar off, and hath forgotten that he was purged from his old sins. So, wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, if you do them, and you stay at it on a continual basis, ye shall never fall. Man, that's heavy. That is heavy stuff. So how many of us can sincerely say that we do this on a regular basis, like we get on Facebook? If we did what Peter just said, the way we get on Facebook when we wake up and go to bed, a lot of us would be in a lot better positions, including myself, right? If we did what he just said, the way we watch, the way we make sure we schedule our shows in, like Empire and Scandal and Modern Family and whatever else is out there going on, we'd be in a lot better position. I know I would. I'd be in a lot better position than I am now. If we did what he just said, the way that we pursue, the way we watch and follow our favorite college pro football team, college team, pro, whatever, basketball, March Madness, Super Bowl, the way, it don't matter. Whatever you like doing and you're going to do it on a regular basis, make sure you get in no matter what. If we did the same thing with what Peter just stated, the way we pursue a lot of other things in our personal lives, in our life, we'd be in I know I would be in a lot better position. I'll tell you that right now. So just reading this really pushes and urges and admonishes me to be more focused on this. And also, life just automatically becomes better when you start really doing these things. It's amazing how the simple things in life just start to become pleasurable and pleasing, and it starts to satiate you. When I say satiated, that means fill you up, but not overfill you. You're just content. You're like, I'm satisfied. What else do I need? I'm satisfied. Ain't nothing like eating a good, nice, satisfactory meal that energizes you and helps you go do more of the things that you like doing. Whether it be bungee jumping out of planes, or sitting and reading a book, it don't matter. So if you overfill, what happens? You gotta go take a nap. And that's not the point of eat. That's not the point. The point of food is so you can get energy so you can go live life, not go take a nap, right? So, this is a real heavy passage right here, and we have to do what we can to implement and make this happen. Let's talk about some equipment real quick that helps us. We just got a protocol, a procedure right here with 2 Peter. Let's go to Romans 13:12. I was listening to Romans the other day on the audio, and this jumped out at me. It's like, dang, this has really jumped out at me. Romans 12:13. Let me see here. Just looking at some of the pieces of equipment that we actually have in the spiritual realm. Rejoicing in hope, patient in looking at 12, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continually instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitalities. This is what I will. Let me see here. 13 and 12. Hold on for 1 second. See if I can find it. Let's see here. Trying to find where he talks about we're given armor of light. Armor of light. Well, I can't find it right now. Well, let's go to Ephesians 6:11 and 18. Looking at the armor. It's armor of light, but also we want to break down what these pieces of armor in light. Armor of light, 11:18. Ephesians 6:11 through 18. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints, and for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. So we just got a breakdown, a very real breakdown of the spiritual kingdom, the spiritual world out there, the spiritual realm, and the tools and equipment that we've been given that's light, that will help us that will help us defend and maintain. That was Romans 13:14 is what I was looking at. But put ye on the Lord Jesus Christ, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust. So Jesus Christ, and make not provision for. Let's see. No. Romans 13:12. The night is far spent, that the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. That's Romans 13:12. And that was what I was looking for before I went to Ephesians. It's an armor of light, but then Ephesians 6 breaks down what that armor of light looks like and what it's made up of. So we're just talking about equipment that we're given to help defend ourselves and remain purified brides for the soon incoming bridegroom. So with that, I'm going to close out. I didn't mean to stay on too long, but I just wanted to talk about the toxic world in which we live, detoxification, getting clean, brushing yourself off when you fall down, and then living clean, doing your best to, and God will do the rest as far as living clean in a world that is designed, that is formulated specifically to isolate and segregate and neutralize and destroy, nullify and destroy you completely and utterly. Like I said, the ones who put this all together, they believe that there's different levels, and Ephesians 6 breaks down those different levels if you look up the words. So there's a lot of there's like a corporation of evils, a kingdom of darkness and a kingdom of light. So 2 kingdoms. Which one are you going to be? Which one are you going to join, and which one are you going to be in? That's the question. Your decision determines your outcome. Your decision determines your future. So this is Kevin over at jkevinjohnson.com. Just talking a little bit about toxic world, detoxification, and living clean in a world that seeks to take you out, that seeks to defile you in every which way that it possibly can. So with that, this is Kevin over at jkevinjohnson.com, and thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon.